Hello boys and girls, welcome to the stream. I'm about to run the race briefing, so I'll be with you all shortly. In the meantime, have some of this. I've got the standings in a cute little video. Enjoy. G'day everyone, welcome in to round 2 of the V8 Supercars series here at Hidden Valley, where qualifying is about to be underway. Hope everyone's had a great week since the Super 2 race that we had last week. The Wednesday Cup series on Wednesday was great, and we had some of the Sprint Champs runs on Friday night that were streamed. Hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone's keen and excited for tonight's racing. Tonight I will be joined by Joshua Hughes for commentary a little bit later on. He's just running a little late, but once he gets here, we will get that all sorted. But probably will start very shortly. Lane is open. Keep an eye on Adam Betts for a lap or so and see how things go. Got a few cars in tonight, which is fantastic to see. Alright, and here he goes for the first crack at putting a time on the board. So hard on the skids into turn 1. Hopefully try and carry as much speed as possible because it just keeps going forever. And through the windy sections 2 and 3, basically just held flat on the anchors for turn 4. Then up into the hairpin where this last section of the course is, probably down to first gear, although Betts is holding in second, which is good to see. Probably limit the amount of slip on the rear wheels. And in towards the final sector. The section is very tricky to handle. The tiniest mistake, you end up on the grass. And he's going to come across for a 105.8, setting the benchmark nice and early. Some of the guys were getting 104s in the practice server, which was pretty cool. Monroe's pulled out a 105.1. O'Reilly with a 105.6. Delaney's thrown himself into third with a 105.6. It's looking more and more like... we'll see where Monroe's... how he's going. Throwing that Sega livery Merc around this Darwin track. Riley's managed a 105.2, quickly dethroned by Delaney and Cicluna, pulling 105.1s. There we go, now the track map overlay is actually working. Got that working, thankfully. Should have had that sorted out earlier, but we're good now. So what are we looking at? We're looking at 24 cars on the grid tonight, which is a fantastic showing. Love to see it. So Chris Monroe's managed himself a 104.7. Zach O'Reilly just manages to pull into the fours as well. Randy, g'day. See what O'Reilly's managing. How are you, Randy? Looking forward to next week's race at Hidden Valley? Put all your preparation in, or? I believe O'Reilly's up. His wheel doesn't show if he's up or not, okay. He did go up. He went up by quite some margin with a 104.6. Cracking lap. You trying? You think you're one of the fastest so far? That's good to hear. Keep at it. Let's see what Cotter is up to. That's not Cotter, that's McEwen. McEwen, who throws it up the inside of Simmons. And he's got a bit of traffic to deal with. The guys evidently throwing their laps away. While Cotter does manage to pull fifth back. Yeah, there we go. He's pulled over. So McEwen's got a little bit of time up his sleeve. Let's see if he can manage to... He might manage to get into the fours. A couple of guys very close on time. In fact, we've got barely a second between... We've got a little bit over a second between the top 20 positions, which is magical. Matthew Richards, in his Custom Eco Racing Merc livery, keeps him to showcase the Mercs at the moment. But, for those watching, you might have noticed that I've got the real tyre compounds on. Which looks pretty cool. Checking with Mr. Andrew Ferguson in the TerraTech Volvo. The Volvo is a seemingly quiet sounding car. Oh, that IKEA dashboard. That's fantastic. Marsden puts it up into 8th. 105.3. See, that spread from Marsden in 8th and Ferguson 10 positions down, there's 3/10 in it. It just shows how close this grid is, which is going to make for some fantastic racing. Virgos might have a little bit of time up his sleeve here. As he brings it through the final sector, the last couple of corners, with a little bit of jittering and stuttering going on. Just send it, Fergo. Get after it. What do you got? Can't quite improve. That's a shame. Let's have a look and see how Erin as a party is going. This is currently showing that she's 2/10 up, but we'll see. I don't know how accurate that data is. Showing a 10th up at the moment. She comes around the final corner. What have we got? Can't quite improve. As we got traffic coming out of pit lane. Everyone down to 22nd is in the 105s or better. So at the moment, cars 1 to 13, 1 to 14 is within a second. That is insane. Check in with Walsh. See if he can improve. This is pretty much everyone's last crack at it. Oh, and Walsh throws it. That's a shame. Adam Betts, let's see, can he improve on this currently? Betts throws it over the line and improves quite some. Into 6th position. Chris Munro's throwing it over the line now. He improves, but it's not enough to pip O'Reilly. That was a very hefty qualifying session. I will be right back with you very shortly for race 1. Alrighty, and I'm back with you. We are on the grid. We'll do a quick grid walk while we wait. I've got 3.5 minutes before the session kicks over. Not everyone's quiet in the server yet, but to begin with, on pole position is Zach O'Reilly. Very close behind him is Chris Munro on second place. In the second row we have Daniel Cicluna in the Ford FGX. In another FGX is James Delaney. Matthew Cotter picks up fifth position. In sixth we have someone who's not in the server yet. They should be with us shortly, hopefully. Alex McEwen brings up 7th position in the Kodak Nissan. Scott Garrick. Oh, there we go. Adam Betts has popped in. Alex McEwen, followed by Scott Garrick and David Thornton. Stephen Marsden in the IKEA Volvo, followed by Daniel Walsh. Matthew Richards brings up the position behind. And then we've got Andrew Ferguson, Harley Marshall, Nick Mello, Aaron Azapati, Luke Newing, Andy Castle, Lachlan Grant, Taylor Simmons, Jesse Lenore, Lawrence Smith, Thomas Wilson, and James McFarland up the back. That brings our grid into position. I've done very badly. Let's go for... got a bit of time. That should be a pretty reasonable angle for the time being. We do have some really nice liveries, Buller. They look fantastic. Oh, Walsh has dropped out. He should hopefully be back in a sec. Maybe he's accidentally selected the wrong setup before click and drive, probably. So hopefully turn 1 isn't too insane. Yeah, Walsh has made it back. Good stuff. "30 seconds till race time." "15 seconds. Should have some lights up on screen any moment now. We don't. There we go. Lights are up. 6 lights on. 6 off, and away we go. Cicluna gets a bit of a tardy start, but O'Reilly and Munro have held on to things. See how wide we go into turn 1. We've got 3 wide in the second or third row back there. So far, so good. I'll throw some of this cam on just to see how it looks for a minute. It's looking nice and tidy thus far. Alright. Do some of this, and then some of this. And back to that. Alright, cool. So, it looks like we got through turn 1 relatively unscathed. Got a couple of people jostling for position in the mid-pack. Everyone seems to be holding fairly well. Chris Munro and Cotter are battling it out. Betts is trying to have a bit of a look. But O'Reilly seems to have just run off with the lead. Ferguson's dropped back a bit. Seems he must have made a bit of a mistake into the final corner. Walsh is having a look up the inside of Marsden. Looks like he's not quite going to hold on to it. Marsden's just going to be able to pull away. Walsh slips in behind. Lives to fight another day. Marshall and Richards are going at it back there. A little bit of door bashing going on. But at the moment, we've got a very tight field. All the way down to 20th position. Everyone is less than a half a second away. I am going to struggle to know who to watch. As Sapuna comes through the first sector, seems as though Walsh has gone off through turn 1. Definitely. Everyone seems to be settling into their positions. And just sort of getting an idea of what they should be doing. Munro's looking like challenging into turn 1, possibly. He's got the draft, got a big run. Well, he's gotten squarely on the lockup. Just keeps it out of the back of Cotter. Betts gets a little bit squiggly too. This is looking like a nice spicy little drive. Who else have we got? Garrick is pretty close to McEwen. Let's switch over to see how they're going. Got some Mellow and Castle action happening. Let's see what's going on there. As a party, looks like she's trying to get in back there as well. Everybody's in for a tight battle. Ferguson pulling out wide for Newing. Might even have it in on Walsh by the time turn 1 happens. I don't think it's close enough. Newing definitely broke later though. Just held on to it. That's some great racing. couple lockups. This pack here is looking very crazy. Ewing with the dive into the hairpin. Oh, and we got a little bit going on there. I'm sure that the guys will be looking into that. Let's have a look. What gaps have we got? Garrick is looking pretty close to the car ahead. It's Cicluna challenging behind. Been a bit squirrely on that front end with that Volvo. He's trying though. And he's keeping up. Ewing and Fergo switch positions again. As everyone sort of managed to filter themselves into their comfort zones. Guys are still pulling 5s and low 6s. Jump on with James Delaney, who's got Matt Cotter for company, not too far behind, but not particularly close. Although Daniel Cicluna seems to be making inroads on Scott Garrett and Alex McEwen shortly up from that. And Chris Munro, who's usually a bit further up the field, is probably going to be waiting to capitalise on this. Like they're all just getting perpetual tow here. We'll switch over to Nick Mello, who's hustling for position. See if he can run it a little deeper into turn 1, but it looks like Marshall's running away with it for now. There's been a bit of an incident ahead. McEwen is dropping down the order, so is Garrick. Let's see if we can jump on and see if they're all good. They probably just made a couple of mistakes, it would seem. The need for Swede in the Volvo. Daniel Walsh is looking like he's going to have a look at Andrew Ferguson shortly. Possibly. See if Ferguson can hold him off. Walsh is on a slower lap, so I imagine he's probably made a bit of a mistake on that last one. Chris Monroe is half a second off of Cicluna. Let's see if he can manage to pull that in past Cicluna. Stephen Marsden is hustling Alex McEwen. Might manage. Definitely made some inroads into turn one. We're at the halfway mark now. Most of the pack is still very close to one another. Nice smooth inputs there. Go back to Chris Monroe, who's definitely giving Scicluna a hard time. Can't quite make it work. Not yet, anyway. He's just working on keeping the pressure on. Keeping the pressure on and hoping Scicluna makes a mistake. Thomas Wilson right up the back seems to be working on things with Newing. I want to see if Chris Monroe is going to pull back in front, but we'll go to Marsden for a minute. We'll give Monroe a bit of time to sort himself out. At the moment, we've got this pack with Marsden, McEwen and Thornton all hassling one another for those last spots in the top 10. As it stands, the next race is a reverse top 10 grid, so Marsden stands to be sitting on pole for next race if he holds onto this spot. Monroe's got a bit of a run down the main straight. Monroe's making a move. He's getting squirrely. Whoa, he managed to keep it off the back of Scicluna. Garrick and Thornton's switch positions. Garrick must have had a bit of a moment into turn one. Nathan Richards is fighting with Taylor Simmons. Monroe's going to have another go, possibly into turn one, maybe. He doesn't quite have enough of the draft, but he's definitely keeping Scicluna honest. what can he do at this run? He seems to make up that last bit of ground towards the end there, but can't quite push through. Oh, Scicluna's gone wide. Munro's managed to throw his car up the inside. Can he hold on to it? It was very close. Up. Tower's having a moment. Standard tower. Beyond that, Smith has just made ground on Simmons. Have a look at our race leader. Let's see how he's travelling. Catching up to the back markers. Move out of the way. He's got a good 6 seconds. Delaney seems to be pulling time out of Cotter. Delaney's pulling time out of Cotter's lead. Munro is very much back in the fight again. He's probably waiting for that turn 1 opportunity again. But he's definitely kept that pressure on Scicluna this whole race after making that little mistake that he had earlier. Garrick is pulling time out of Marsden, keeping him honest. Munro might be looking at another crack into T1. He's got a bit of a drive. It's just not quite there. Garrick is up. Just as I've switched to him, he's slid off a bit. Marshall and Mello capitalise as a result. Castle is looking at also possibly trying to have a sniff at that as well. So as far as battles go, we've got this between Castle and Garrett, and the battle between Munro and Scicluna, which we're still looking very tidy. Okay, so Scicluna is taking the pressure and just sort of used it as a reason to push up and close the gap up to Betts a bit. Castle makes his move on Garrick. We weren't there to see it, unfortunately, but he's done it into turn 1. He's made it stick. We've got a little bit of smoke screen going on over at turn 1. We'll switch back to these guys and see how they're travelling. Munro's yet again got that elusive couple of tenths to try and sort out. Alright, if he's got a run, it looks like a run, but it's looking like it's not quite enough. Garrick is definitely keeping Castle making Castle work for it. He's just past him. Castle's holding on tight. Desperately doesn't want to let that go, but he's racing fairly. He's keeping a little bit of bumpies. The contact. Castle might get the switch back. They're rubbing. Castle doesn't want to give up without a fight. He stuck the nose in. And now we're up to this final crack at it between these three. It's the last run at it for these three. One of the tightest battles there is on track right now. They've got a bit of blue flag track ahead of them, holding them up. Hopefully he can shift himself out of the way. And that's our top 6 across the line. Thornton brings it in. McEwen brings it in. Marsden, Marshall. Mello comes across the line as a party finishes up. Ferguson, who's done. We've got Walsh and Garrett. One after the other. Lachlan Grant. Richards. Newing. And that's not Wilson, this is Wilson, who's going to bring it around for the final lap. While we've got some cars doing some celebratory donuts in the infield. All right, cool. We will switch over to race two. We'll be back with you very shortly. Sorry, I just had to take care of a couple of things there. Back with you very soon. And we're back for race two. So we will do what we did last run and do a quick grid run. Ollie Marshall in P1, Stephen Marsden in P2, Alex McEwen in P3, David Thornton in 4th, Chris Munro in 5th, Daniel Skliner in 6th, Adam Betts in 7th, James Delaney in 8th, Matt Cotter in 9th, and Zach O'Reilly round out the top 10. This race is a reverse grid reverse for the top 10 to make up the grid. Nick Mello and Naren Azapati round out row 6. Andrew Ferguson and Daniel Walsh in row 7. Scott Garrick and Lachlan Grant in row 8. Matthew Richards and Andy Castle in row 9. Lawrence Smith and Taylor Simmons in row 10. Luke Newing, Thomas Wilson, row 11. Jesse Lenall and James McFarland round out the final row. However, he's just... Hello? You good? We will do some of these. Do some of these. Let's go for... I'm going to go for a very, very non-conventional starting camera line. Go from here. And I'm going to manually pan around for it. It's not going to look great. But we do these things. Minutes will race time. Actually, no, we're not going to do that. We will go with that for our starting camera. "30 seconds until we get going." Lights are up. Six lights on. 6 lights out, and they're off. They are off and running. Reasonably clean and tidy for the time being. As everyone tries to get optimal position into turn 1. So far, so good. They've managed to hold it together. Alright, with that said, let's do some of this. Got a little bit of rubbing and shunting. Erica runs a little wide. Betts is trying to keep it up the inside into the hairpin there. Much like last race, these first couple of laps are going to be chaos, as is anticipated. While these guys settle themselves out. So Marshall has managed to pull away because he's not having to defend too hard. He's getting what Zach O'Reilly managed to have last run. Well, Betts throws it up the inside of Cotter in the hairpin. Hasn't quite made it stick yet while they rub around a bit. Cotter's being very fast, very aggressive. Classie's champion doesn't want to give up that easily. We've got a car around on the main straight. Cotter throws it down the inside of Betts into turn 1. So Luke gets his elbows out and pushes him over. Tells him, no, I want this spot. Got 9 more to make up. He'll be back up where he's used to be. Meanwhile, as a party has decided that she wants to have a look at Betts as well into the hairpin. Keeps it nice and tidy, gives lots of room. Makes the move work very nicely. Good stuff. Chris Monroe is having a look at Stephen Marsden as they finish up that final sector. See if Chris can get the drive out of the main straight. Down the main straight. Make that Merc work harder than the Volvo. He's got a great run. Get a little bit bumpy through turn one, but just makes it happen. Puts the move on. Bets and as a party have come off and dropped back the order a little bit. Maybe Castle managed to capitalise a little bit. Keeping that mid-pack battle alive. Zach O'Reilly gets past David Thornton while they keep battling one another. Thornton won't give up that easy. Thornton's going to have a look up the inside into turn one, maybe. Not quite far up alongside enough to make it happen. Cicluna is having a look at Thornton as well. Walsh seems to have come a cropper. Cars coming together around that 16th to 18th area. While the tower tries to figure itself out. It's loving this camera angle. Let's give it a different one though. And he managed that. Get that drive into T1 as they change gears and sort themselves out. He's got the nose up along the inside, and they keep it respectful, which is great to see. Thornton's probably got a little bit more drive, having gone a bit wider. Put that inside line into turn 4. Cicluna goes for the switch around. With Delaney and Cotter hard on their heels. This is turning into a very spicy little pack right here. See who's got the better exit out of the final corner. Their times are all very close, within a tenth that lap. O'Reilly makes his move past Marsden just in the shot ahead there. Puts it to stick. Very nicely done. This battle is just too spicy to quit. Scuzz has thrown it in the grass. Thornton says yes thanks. Cicluna gets very wiggly there. But somehow gets past Thornton again. Through the last few corners they go. For the 7th time of asking. Ferguson has decided he wants to join in on this battle pack too. Let's turn it into 5 cars. Trying to nab 6th position. Why not? What else do we have? As a party is catching up on Castle very quickly. cars are keeping it very tidy on this racetrack at the moment. Great to see. And Thornton has done something of a mischief himself. Yep, he's thrown it in the grass. He drops down the order. And Davis decided he's had enough. We in the industry call that a Dave quit. So, out of all of that, Cotter has now passed Delaney, but they're still battling. Nope, Cotter has not passed Delaney. Delaney's dropped back a couple of positions. Is concerning for him. Betts, as a party, and Castle are hard at it down there. Let's see what they're doing. Actually, we'll watch this position. Everyone else has largely managed to sort themselves out, and we're now slotting into that section of the race where we're looking at gaps of a second or more between most cars. So Delaney must have had a stinker of a lap putting in a 109 that run. Chris Munro looks like he's about to give Alex McEwen a hard time, possibly into turn one if he's got the run out of that final corner. Telling Alex to give him back his car. Chris was in the Nissan last season. Now the question is, does he just hang out and secure himself a nice tiny podium, or does he try and fight these guys? Keeps the pressure on that they might make a bit of a mistake. Looks like he went in a little deep, but he might be able to recover there. Maybe that's just his normal line. Cotter is making a move on Marsden. Cotter and Marsden have made that sort itself out. Chris Munro. Chris Munro's managed to get himself up past McEwen and is now going to try and have a sniff at P1. Marshall getting a little slippy out of final corner. Ferguson passes Marsden. He's going to have a look. It's not quite going to work. We do have a bit of action going on down here into turn 1. Ferguson and Marsden. Oh, they're both working for it. That's fantastic to see. With Castle and Betts fighting for it as well. That turn 1 is making this very interesting. Chris Monroe is looking very close. There we go. He's managed to pull ahead of Marshall into that hairpin. Now Marshall just needs to try and hold on as best he can. But we are going to be having a nice little spicy four-way battle for the first little bit there. We'll jump on with McEwen so that we get a bit of a view of all three of them as they come into turn 1. Are a couple of server issues going on at the moment, but nothing major. Ping numbers are looking a little bit higher than usual. Zach O'Reilly throws it up the inside of McEwen into the hairpin. Delaney, Marsden and Ferguson are looking pretty close to one another. Delaney, it's only a matter of time with Delaney before he has a look at Marsden, makes a move on him. A little bit wobbly on that exit, but he's very close. Close enough for the toe. And his drive work for him into turn 1. Can he do it? It's not quite enough. Tower has wigged out. No, it hasn't. Marsden's just gone off into turn 1. We've got McEwen and Marshall having a battle up here with O'Reilly as well. So running to turn 1, and McEwen, does he have the drive to challenge? Castle seems to be dropping down the order for some reason. McEwen's thrown it up the inside of Marshall, who's gone wide. And now they've got a bit of overlap, so they're side by side coming up to turn 4. Marshall got a bit wobbly. Luna wants to get in on it. The server ping seems to have sorted itself out for a minute there, which is good. Betts and Grant switch positions a bit further down the order. Grant must have made a bit of a mistake. He's dropping a couple. And he's going to have a bit of a draft here on Harley Marshall, with Cicluna not far behind. Zach O'Reilly's gone off at turn 1 and lost out a little bit. Chris Monroe now has a commanding 4 seconds of room to play. This battle is very close, although we do have Delaney a little further down the order battling with Ferguson. Marshall decides to run wide again, giving McEwen a look. But no, Marshall holds on to it. McEwen gets the nose in while Marshall's tail end gets a bit slippy. The tower is having a moment to itself there. Standard. Chris Monroe in the distance there, just absolutely sending it. Delaney's made his move on Ferguson. In that last sector, that's very tidy work. Not an easy place to make a move. Marston seems to have come a cropper. Yeah, as he recovers, limps himself back around. We've got Cicluna, McEwen, Marshall all still battling hard into turn 4. Cicluna tries to throw it up the inside, not quite far up enough. It's getting slippy. Grant looks like he's about to have a look at Azzopardi. He's looking a little bit slippy. Oh, a little taily out of the final corner there. Garrick shortly behind, ready to capitalise if anything goes wrong. Grant's got a run up alongside, but Azzopardi's a bit later on the brakes. McEwen and Marshall are switching positions. Got a little bit of O'Reilly and Cicluna behind them as well. Cotter very, very close behind, can smell what's about to happen, is ready to pounce. Got O'Reilly in the middle of this 5-way battle pack for second. On the final lap. As they throw it through turn 4, head towards the hairpin. Cicluna's still losing that rear end. O'Reilly makes up a lot of room. Got Garrick and Grant switching positions, and Azzopardi not far behind Ferguson. This is, oh, we've got Marshall off. Oh, made it a little bit airy there. Chris Monroe comes through for the win. Alex McEwen has managed P2 with a Zach O'Reilly very close on his heels. Danny Cicluna comes home behind Matt Cotter in 4th, with Cicluna in 5th. Harley Marshall 6th, James Delaney in 7th, Adam Betts, followed by Andrew Ferguson, Aaron Azzopardi, Scott Garrick, Lachlan Grant. Lawrence Smith gets 13th, Matthew Richards in 14th, Andy Castle 15th, Stephen Marsden in 16th. While Zach does his celebratory burnouts. Where's Adam Betts headed to? He's going for a bit of a drift. He's almost held on to that. Good stuff. Race 3 will be along very shortly. We'll be back with you soon. Alright, and we are now gridded and ready to go for race 3. Race 3 is a bit of a longer one, so we'll see what happens. Not sure I've got the time to do a grid run, but we'll do a quick one. Chris Monroe, Alex McEwen, Zach O'Reilly, Matt Cotter, Dennis Cluner, Ollie Marshall, James Delaney, Adam Betts, Andrew Ferguson, Aaron Azzopardi, Scott Garrick, Lachlan Grant, Lawrence Smith, Matthew Richards, Andy Castle, Stephen Marsden, Nick Mello, Daniel Walsh, somebody who's not in the server yet, Taylor Simmons, Lucas Newing, someone else who isn't in the server yet, someone else who isn't in the server yet, Jesse Lenole, possibility for 2 or 3 others who also aren't in the server yet. That is your grid for race 3 as we are about to get underway. Lights are up. Six lights on. 6 out and we're off. Keep an eye on these guys as they fly through turn 1. Matt Cotter goes for a bit of a wiggle out wide. But so far it looks like we're relatively unscathed. We've got a couple of damage reports coming in, but nothing major. Chris Monroe has his position out front currently secured nicely as he tries to put as much ground between him and the cars behind, while everyone else is battling along as quickly as they can, trying to make up as much room as possible while the pack's still tight. So they come around and start filing in to finish their first lap. Into lap 1, we've got Monroe, O'Reilly, McEwen, Cotter, Sapuna, Marshall, Delaney, Betts, Azzopardi, and Grant in our top 10. Azzopardi was about to have a bit of a look at Betts there. McEwen has actually made a move on Cotter and made that stick nicely. I'm guessing that Cotter must have made a bit of a mistake. Looks like Cicluna's having a look at Marshall as well, which for now he's holding on to. They're still side by side, battling it out. Marshall's got the inside at the hairpin. Cicluna's still got the inside for the next corner, so they've just got to keep it tidy. Cotter has run wide onto the grass a little bit there. It's not common for Cotter. Cicluna has put himself on the grass though and dropped a position for it, but he's going to do his best to try and make up for it. A few guys looking to battle it out into turn 1 yet again. Delaney's got the run. Maybe he's going to go for it on Cicluna. It's not quite enough to have a crack at Marshall yet, but Marshall's line is very different through there. This battle pack is continuing to be very spicy while Delaney tries to throw the nose in on Marshall. Marshall blocking off the inside line. Cicluna having a look at the inside of Delaney. doing some work there. Delaney's decided he doesn't want to yield that one. Doesn't want to let it go. But he's put it on the grass as a result. Betts is having a look up the inside of the final corner. If his drive's good enough, he might make that work. It's not quite enough. Got all kinds going on. Our podium is, or Cicluna looking very close at Delaney there, giving him a little bit of the hurry along. So many cars. Betts has a look. Ah, he's bumped Cicluna off as a party's in behind to clean up the mess. Mello is looking like he wants a look at that too. Meanwhile, Castle is having a look at Cicluna to try and capitalise on the mistake as well. Richards is going to try and hold everyone off. Cicuna's got a bit of a run, but Richards goes defensive. Makes him go hard on the inside. That wasn't going to work. He tried. He tried. And we've got a bit of chaos. Bit of chaos at turn one. Castle's having a look at Cicluna. Back here where the battles are. We've got battles up the front too, but these are a lot closer. Simmons sends it deep into turn one. Can't make it stick. Castle just decided, nah, I'm good. I'll just take the normal line, thanks. What else do we have? We've got Newing and Lenol battling it out back there with Garrick shortly behind. This is a big battle pack back here. Walsh making a look at Simmons. Smith might have a look at Walsh here into turn one. Might have a bit of a run. Putting the work in. He's gone late on the brakes with Simmons. I'm not on the right car. He's come together with Simmons. That's a shame. Let's have a look at Lachlan Grant. At the moment, Cotter looks like he might be trying to pull that position back off of McEwen. While the lag seems to be increasing, sorry, the ping. It's a much longer race than the previous one. O'Reilly's gone off onto the grass through turn 1, which gives McEwen and Cotter the opportunity. But he does not want to give up that easy. He's on that inside corner. Cotter throws it through. 3 wide through the hairpin. This is a very tidy battle going on right now. Cotter and O'Reilly having a little bit of a look at each other through the final corner. Giving the likes of Marshall and Delaney a bit of a chance to get back in the fight. It's still early days though, it's only lap 9. O'Reilly and Marshall are jostling into turn 4. He's going to have dirty tyres into the hairpin. That wasn't terrible. Cotter is now having a bit of a look as well. Bit of a run down the main straight with Delaney here. Delaney's got a massive run into turn 1. Kind of tries to turn down. It was not amazing, but Mello and Azzopardi are working on things back there as well. Cotter is sending it sideways through turn 1. Yeah, Cotter has got a bit of lag going on by the look of things. Yeah, it's server. Yeah. Sorry about that. Just having a chat to the race directors. Cicluna seems to be gearing up to make a move on Nick Mello. He's got a fair old run going on here. He's got a big run. He's pulling away. He's definitely got his gear ratios dialed in just right for that main straight. So what you want, it's a hard balance here. You either want to capitalize on the long straight and have more speed at the end, or you want to be looking to have as much acceleration as possible. You just want to ride that line where the acceleration is just where it needs to be able to put you on just about to rev limit at the braking point into turn 1. It took me nearly a whole lap to explain what I was trying to say there. Maybe I've got aphasia. Who knows? Aaron Azzopardi is about to try and have a look at Andrew Ferguson. Probably not quite close enough for a move, but still. Zach O'Reilly's looking at McEwen. He's made it happen for now. While everything kind of tries to figure itself out with the netcode issues. Seems each race tonight we've had a couple of netcode issues, but they've managed to sort themselves out after a few laps. Azzopardi and Ferguson are back at it again, with Betts shortly up the road, and Mello probably getting reeled in if he's not careful. Castle probably ready to try and capitalise on whatever happens here. Marshall as they come into turn 4. Daniel Walsh is coming to pits. I'm assuming he might be coming in for his tyre change. If he's managed 19 laps on those super softs, he's done reasonably well. Mello looks like he's lost it. Yep. As a party has made the pass on Ferguson. We've got 4 cars into turn 1. Fergo gets the drift on. Makes the pass on as a party. Castle wants to get in. These guys are really going hard at it. Still got a little bit of server lag going on. And it looks like the tower is having a moment again. Standard. But we do have a very tidy little pack here. Garrick is having a look at bets. It seems they've come a cropper. We'll stay here for a moment. Let's have a look at the helicopter cam. Use this for a sec. Alright, so it makes the textures on the road a little bit fucky, but the cars look pretty good, I guess. Stick it on random cameras and see. Front of Bet's car looks like a Mazda 3 at a distance. I can't say I've noticed. Oh, we'll give it a look next time I'm looking at it. But we are having some very interesting server issues at the moment. I just had to quickly address for the guys on track. Hey, look at that. It's showing us Castle's race suit. That's pretty cool. Delaney's having a look into turn 1. I don't know why it's showing us the rear camera. He's definitely battling with Marshall. He's made it past him. So Delaney makes a pass on the Harley Marshall, who's deciding he wants to fight back. And fair enough, rightly so. Beyond that, we've got Scott Garrick having a look at bets. If it's going to show us bets, we might be able to see this Mazda 3 thing Turks is talking about. Go on board with bets. Tara's having a moment again. Nick Mello might be looking at Stephen Marsden shortly. Grabbed a bit of wall at the end of the run there. Steering shaft says idiot and pointed the driver in Bet's car. Yeah, true. That is pretty good. It does too. That's fantastic. That is very good. And his dials are Oreos as well. Good catch, Turks. Well done. On board with Aaron Azzopardi as she looks towards both Castle and Ferguson, who are a little bit less than a second up the road. Marsden has been passed by Mello and Newing. Probably come a cropper of something there. Let's go and have a look. And the very quiet Volvo. For some reason this car is quieter than normal. So Walsh has done his drive-through and he's now on softs. Whether he's gearing up to try and push for the entirety of the race, hard to know, but we are entering that halfway point now where people are likely to start taking their pit stops. Chris Monroe's got a commanding, absolutely dominating 15-second lead on Zach O'Reilly. So he's probably ready to just come in and take a nice leisurely pit stop. Azzopardi and Garrick are coming in for fresh boots as well. And in the meantime, our race leader is currently as comfortable as you like, and there's my There's my commentator's curse for the night. Sorry, Chris. Zach O'Reilly's running in second. He's doing well. Alex McEwen in third. He's managed to hold Cotter off pretty well. That makes up our podium for the time being. Andrew Ferguson, who is not letting me click on his name. There it is. Making ground on Lachlan Grant in the battle for 7th place. Luke Newing comes in for his pit stop. That dashboard will get me every time without fail. At the moment, this is the closest battle there is. Andy Castle currently in 9th pits with Betts close behind, and Mello. Marsden capitalises for the time being. Castle must have had a nice quick stop. He's pulled past Betts as he comes out of pit lane. Just behind our race leader for the time being. But as a party, very close behind. Well and truly over the halfway point. Luke Newing is making inroads on Betts here. Actually, as a party, I shouldn't have switched. As a party's made the pass on Castle through the hairpin. Marshall and Smith have passed positions. Marsden comes in for a stop. Munro comes in for his pit stop, changing the tyres now. Now's probably as good a time as any. He was getting slippy on that last lap. Zach would be smart to come in as quick as he can, unless, yeah, here we go, he's coming in as well. McEwen is going to go long. McEwen wants that first position for a lap or two. It's only going to last as long as it can until these guys take their pit stops. Sapluna stays out. Monroe is now right up behind Sapluna with fresh tyres. So it's at this point where the top four are going to be asking themselves, should I have come in? At the moment we've got Daniel Walsh, probably the closest car to anyone ahead at the moment. Not quite close enough, but he's working on it. And Delaney has come in for his pit stop. Probably wise at this point. So now we're looking at Cotter, McEwen and Sapluna, our current top podium sitters. They have yet to pit. So I imagine by the time everything shakes out, we had a little bit of lag there. Marsden sort of spearing off into the wall. So let's see if McEwen comes in for a pit stop. So Sapuna's come in for his pit stop. Now it's just McEwen and Cotter in that top bracket that need to change their tyres. Well, Lawrence Smith is coming in for pits. We will go and have a look at Nick Mello, who is at the end of a 3-car train, featuring Marsden, Newing and Mello. Garrick and Castle battling into turn 1. Castle pulls out the front, doing very nice tidy work there. Go back to Ferguson, Newing and Mello, while McEwen and Potter have yet to pit. Hopefully they can make their tyres last while they try and stay out. They're probably looking at a window of, if they want to move on to super softs, they're probably looking at having to stretch these softs out for another 5 laps, I would say. Most tracks you're looking at about 7 to 10 laps tops before the supers start wearing out, but this is a particularly short track, so maybe those guys they can put supers on and capitalize out of it. Maybe. Marsden having a look here at Mello. Marsden doing some work. Garrick is having another look at Castle. Cotter is... maybe the tower's just doing weird things. It looked like Cotter was pulling a fair bit of time out of McEwen there for a moment, but not quite. Delaney, on the other hand, is catching up. However, we'll go back to Garrick and Castle. It's not quite as fast as it could have been. Betts, however, is making up solid ground 3 seconds behind those guys. Back up to Delaney. McEwen coming in for his pit stop. Let's see if he puts the supers on. It might be a bit too early. We're looking at 14, 15 laps or thereabouts, which they might last. They're going to be screaming at the end of that stint if they do try it. But I reckon Cotter is looking at super softs at this point. McEwen has jumped onto the supers. See how McEwen does. It's probably going to take 2 or 3 laps to get him up to temp, get him turned on. But at this point, by the time Cotter comes in, Cotter's probably going to slot in 5th or 6th by the time he finishes his pit stop. Here he comes now. He's coming into pits now. There you go, Turks. I've got the I got the tyres on. They look good. Cotter's still coming through. He's about to come out now. McEwen's trying to warm those tyres up. Get him up to temp. So Cotter comes out in 4th. Delaney looks like he's about to have a crack at someone into turn 1 here. It's tight. Marshall seems to favour that outside line much to his detriment. I suppose when you've got someone up your inside, that's about all you can do. You can't really try and do much other than run it wide. But let's go on with McEwen for a sec and see what's going on. So at this point, it's a matter of seeing if McEwen's gamble on the supers can pay off for him. Cotter has come back out on normal softs for some reason. Yeah, that's just occurred to me then, Turks. That is really bizarre. Why has he come out on softs when... I mean, look, McEwen, his tyres are going to die a lot quicker. But... a little birdie in my ear reckons that Supers will last sort of 10 to 12. We got some action down here. Castle making ground, putting in work. Mr. I can't fight for top 10s. He's in 8th. As a party's working on keeping that alive as well. But yeah, as I was saying before, the little birdie in my ear seems to think that the Super Softs can last sort of 12 to 13 laps here, give or take. So we will see what happens with McEwen, I guess. Eric is keeping Castle pretty honest at the moment, though. That's for sure. What you've seen there, toast after 10. Pulled the trigger too quick. Look, possibly. But I know that like last round at Sydney Motorsport Park, you were looking at kind of 9 laps on the Supers before they shut themselves. This is a good 30 seconds slower a lap, almost. How long is the pit stop here? It's not a particularly long pit lane, but you're probably looking at maybe 30 seconds, give or take. Probably 45 seconds if I were to guess. Everyone seems to have done their pit stops, so... But usually, from memory, it's usually 28 litres of fuel you can put in on a pit stop, and that takes about the same amount of time as a tyre change. Oh, Garrick's having a look up the inside. Castle's going to have the run though, still on the inside. Garrick's going to have a look into turn 1 probably. It's got a bit of a run. In the toe, it's going to make life a little bit easier. That's a horrible time to be lagging. Getting a little bit bumpy. They managed to keep it clean. Can Castle get that position back? Garrick's decided he wants the inside. At the moment, this is about as close as it gets on track. We do have Lawrence Smith down in 18th. Arse's having a look. Not quite up alongside. Got home, thought you'd catch the end of the race. Everyone seems very close. Yeah, there's been some very tight battles this all night, really. What happened to Marsden? I think he ran into a few issues with some incidents. He was running much, much higher up earlier on. Grant getting a bit slidey. Oh, a car very off there. Replay had only happened a lap ago. I don't have anyone else in here to grab the replay, unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately the replay system in this game isn't quite as good as that in ACC. Would be nice. So Ferguson is now looking at being the next best. That is a big ouch. Ferguson holding on to a top 10 at the moment. Ferguson might look up the inside here. No, not quite close enough. Good car control from Ferguson though, managing to not throw it up the back of another car. As we come into the final 4 or 5 laps of this race, McEwen seems to have pulled a second or so out of O'Reilly's time on those super softs, but it's not quite enough. I don't think it's going to be enough for him to be able to gain any more, but I suppose it's not over yet. He's kept Cotter at bay for the time being, but I guess we'll see how long those tyres actually last. Ferguson has a look, possibly up the inside of Azzopardi as she gets a bit taily into turn 1. So Ferguson has now managed to get past Azzopardi and is holding on to it. It seems as though Azzopardi's tyres might be screaming for a little bit of respite at the moment. In a few corners, the rear end's kind of kicked out a little bit more than you'd hope. Have a look at James Delaney in 6th position, who's not too far off the back of Daniel Cicluna. Cotter seems to have, well, Cotter and McEwen seem to have pulled a little bit of time out of O'Reilly. At the moment, Chris Munro's looking nice and tidy. Now top position for the time being. Not a whole lot in terms of battles going on at the moment, but we'll keep an eye on things for the time being. I think we've got 2 or 3 laps to go. Delaney seems to be getting a bit squirrely at the front and the brakes there into turn 1. But he's keeping it nice and quick. Cotter has managed to pull a bit more time. Again, McEwen's supers. McEwen's kind of held steady since the last update with him. Oh, Cotter's thrown it on the grass a bit. Kept it tidy. McEwen made up 2 seconds to a rally initially, now dropped off. The softs are past peak, yeah. The supers are definitely past their peak. Although he's done a 105.9, which is very quick. Cotter's not too far off. The cars off as the boys come around there. Interesting to see what's happened with a lot of that. As Newing gives way for Cotter. So at this point, it's not. Chris Munro's won the race, so he's done well. Virgo's come into pit lane for one reason or another. And it's cost him a couple of positions. Zach O'Reilly comes in for 2nd, Alex McEwen for 3rd, Matt Cotter for 4th. Dennis Cicluna in 5th, James Delaney in 6th. It looks like Chris Munro's going for a bit of a fun drive. Chris Munro's going for the ski jump. Let's watch him send it. Munro and McEwen. Betts is yet to finish up. There it is, he's finished up. And these guys are going to send it. Here it is here. Castle parks it in. As the guys just full send. Just send it, they reckon. Caution cars off at turn 5. Good stuff. Right, so that is round 2 for our V8 Supercars. We will be back on a Wednesday for round 5 of the Wednesday Cup in the Radicals. Actually, don't know where the race is for that one. Give me 2 seconds. I will have a look. Calendar. It's Mid-Ohio for our Wednesday Cup next round. Dens will be live on Wednesday for that. And we will we'll be with you for that. We've got some more cars coming around for the ski jump now. AC Physics really don't like cars being airborne. Yeah, and following the Wednesday Cup next Sunday, we will have Super 2 here. Hope you all enjoyed the stream. We will catch you again on Wednesday. Thank you all for watching, and I will catch you then.